Welcome everybody, this is Yuttho, and this is a new series on the world capital city Astergea. This city will be taking on a futuristic theme, unlike in Anthropiatricene, my past city, which was based on my interest of Japan. This city is going to be basing on my interest of sci-fi. So I want to give a bit of background and information on the whole theme and the story of, and including the logo of the opening sequence, just give a bit of basis of where this all came from. So firstly, on the background on the theme decision. Probably my most favorite genre of things is sci-fi, and I just love the theme of the future, you know, high-tech stuff, watching the progression of science discovering new things. So I decided to resume a city that I never got to start in SimCity 2013, and that was the making of the capital city of the faction called Academy, which is the stark contrast of the dystopian faction Omegaco. Much like in Anno 2070's Global Trust versus the Eden Initiative, you have the capitalists versus, you know, just a new, I guess you could say, new world order, but in a good way. Maybe bad way, who knows. I chose this plot mainly because I want to reinforce the theme of future and space and to be a little bit exotic. So I chose this impact crater map, which is what the name is, and you can find this map on the workshop and in the description box below. And also that it kind of fits into another theme that I think that's been going around for the past few decades, which is our future as a species has turned upside down due to global warming or nuclear war or even zombies, but probably not the zombies, but still everyone just wants to see the world end in some way and see New York get destroyed 100 times over for some reason. Though that may very well be our future, but probably not as exaggerated like in the movie The Day After Tomorrow. But this map does give the impression of a very isolated city on islands surrounded by the result of rising sea levels. The logo in the opening sequence is the logo for the city Astergea, and I chose the name Astergea from the root words of ancient Greek, Aster meaning star and Gaia means earth. So it literally means star earth. Now for the logo, the circle in the center with the cross has a dual meaning. Firstly, the nucleus of a hydrogen atom, as you can see the orbit and the electron around it, and that's supposed to represent nuclear fusion, which is the power of the stars, and I also want to make it represent the unity of mankind. The cross in the center is the distinction of planet Earth, with the horizontal line being the equator and the vertical line being the meridian line. And you can also see that the orbit has a dual meaning of either an electron or the moon orbiting the Earth. In the rear is a rough representation of the pulsar map, which is a map tracing our planet Earth's position in the Milky Way, the center being Earth in relative to the Sun, and pulsars and the center of the galaxy. This was conceived by a team of scientists, one of them being the famous Carl Sagan. It was imprinted on the Pioneer plaque that was attached to the Pioneer satellites in the 1970s and the Golden Record on the Voyager satellites. All four of these satellites have the intention of that if these satellites were to be intercepted by extraterrestrial life, they could try to decipher our pictorial message of where Earth is and who we are. So it's a very interesting topic. I highly suggest that you guys check it out for yourself. Now I want to explain the civil design for this city. It's going to be very much like Eutropica, but with a few differences. I've been thinking and looking into many sources from popular culture to actual real-world designs and plans for our future cities. This city is going to be eco-friendly, or at least try to be, and that would involve an eco-friendly design of having sustainable neighborhoods rather than sprawls. Each neighborhood would be like their own unit, much like a dormitory in a whole building. Well, depending on what kind of dorm that I'm talking about, but in this case, it's going to be the type of dorms where you have like your kitchen and appliances all where you need them, instead of going down to like the first floor to use the bathroom or do some laundry and things like that. So this would mean the minimalization of highways connecting districts, so that way you know, we don't have to have traffic going around across town doing things, as most traffic would be pedestrian. And it would put a greater application and influence on mass transit. Most highways in the city will be hidden away in the environment of the city, such as underground or sunken, and there will be, of course, double-decker roads to save on space since this is an island like Japan. But for the most part, highways will be minimalized, and the same goes with trains. Trains will only surface at stations, which is sunken anyways. I mean, what I meant to say that the railroad tracks would be kind of like hidden as well. I'm going to start on establishing a metro network as soon as possible, unlike what I did in Utopia, which you could say that city mostly started off as a road city. Going back to the road design, the real basis of the road layout is going to model after the pulsar star, which I will try to draw the roads out stretching from a focal point like the pulsar map, and the center is, Earth. In this sense, the center is not going to be some kind of supreme government building or some tall skyscraper or a giant park, a grand park. Instead, I'm going to make it like a centralized main transportation hub featuring the space elevator and major train stations connecting all parts of the city to this one point. Parks will already be integrated into this city in creative ways, so there's really no point in having a grand central park in the center or even anywhere. That defeats the purpose of having neighborhoods acting as units of their own. And I think that's all I wanted to explain, so I hope you guys enjoy this time lapse of me setting up the center of the map or the center of the city. There's a lot of exciting things to come, and I really did enjoy, just making this fictional universe for this city, Astergea. There's just something about, just making a fictional world that is so wonderfully detailed, like you see in movies such as Star Wars or Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all of which have a very in-depth story to them. And that's what I wanted to do with my city here. I just wanted to give it a bit of depth and background to rather not just be like a regular city, but I want this city to be kind of like, have a story of its own that could probably be told through its design. this is pretty much the result of all that planning that I've done here, and that morning sun is really amazing with the reddish hue on the horizon there, and with the contrast with the very bright, I guess I could say LED or fluorescent lights. But so this is what I had in mind. Obviously you can see that I've placed a lot of train stations and bus station hubs and subway metro things all around in the center, because you know that's what I intended to do, to make the center a huge transportation hub in correlation with the space elevator right here. And as you can see, the road design is roughly based off of the Pulsar map. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more once I expand out, but so far it's just the basic asterisk right here, as you can see, and we have the sunken train stations over here. And I've also have the elevated train lines. I want to have kind of like 2 train lines to pretty much add more ways of transportation, because we have the metro, we have the underground train, which is, you know, I guess you could say another metro, and then we have the elevated train over here. And in some parts the elevated train will go underground and maybe like merge with like the underground train, so that way we can have like this dual train slash metro system here. And we have this all circling around, and I'm still debating on these giant bus terminals because they consume a lot of space and they're not tall with the other buildings that I surrounded the center with, and these are just kind of assets that I've plopped down just to get kind of idea of what the city center would look like, because these buildings won't even tech up until later on. I mostly have just European buildings because this map is European, but I have the building themes mod, so that would change things over time. I might relocate these bus station hubs somewhere else, but this is pretty much where it is for now. Again, you know, trying to put emphasis on this whole center is a huge transportation hub, and we have a huge roundabout in the center with metro stations next to the space elevator. And I haven't even tried out taxis yet, so I'm pretty excited to try that out. So I have these taxi stops right here, as you can see on the sides, and I've also put down a lot of pedestrian tunnels underground, because I think we'll put a lot of emphasis on that. Pretty much like what we done here in the train station, submerged train station. We have a bunch of pedestrian roads and bridges coming from the top deck over to the, pretty much get down to this station. Alright, so here comes nighttime. Over here, this is just a temporary connection. I'm going to expand out on the Pulsar idea, which is the, you know, just a basic surface road design. I'm going to expand on that, and then I'm not going to focus onto highways until, you know, when the time is needed to find a way to kind of connect this. We'll work along with the Pulsar design. That way we don't have to make the highways right away and then build a city on what the highways look like, because that's opposite of what the Pulsar design is. And I'm really, really excited to see what would pretty much expand from this design right here, because we're going to have to, let me zoom out here. I'm going to have this pretty much, you know, you'll have it like stretching into all corners of the map, unifying into this one city center here, and we'll have a bunch of like, you know, I guess you could say out-branching roads. Probably going to have to change this highway up to make it more suitable for whatever the design will become once it expands out. I need a lot of workers, but that's kind of expected. And look at, we already at 76,000, negative 76,000 in debt. Pretty much all these train stations, you know, the train stations are really expensive, but I like them. Really, really like them, and I'm going to probably have to download some more skyscraper assets. Probably not too much though, but because, you know, I'm again trying to limit on the mod slash assets count on like Utopia, so just to kind of prevent whatever problems might arise in the future. I mean, these elevated train stations are already pretty risky because, you know, they require pretty much a game changer type of code, I guess you could say. You know, this elevated train station was not in the game originally, and somehow modders achieved to do it. So this is already pretty risky, and I think I'm going to just leave it like that, and probably that's the only thing that I would have that's exotic, I guess you could say, in mods. We'll see how the modding community expands further, because I don't know, we have a lot of really big modders out there, but I don't know how long they're going to be engaged in City Skylines before they start abandoning their mods. And I hope they don't abandon them anytime soon, like in a few years or anything. Like DeRosa Villa makes some really awesome assets, and I hope he stays in this game for a very long time, along with Gula and some others. Bloody Penguin is a genius. Like, he just makes all these cool mods, like the elevated train track thing. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys next time.